Hello, welcome to NOLA Stamping. I'm Barb Baldwin, and this month we're featuring the Turtley Awesome paper. It is a bright and cheerful paper pack, and even if you're not into turtles, it'll work great for like a whole bunch of different things. I really like the different patterns it has on the non-turtle side of the paper. So I think it'll work great. But this card really leans into the turtleness of the turtle paper. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so to get started, we're going to use garden green paper as the card base. So we're going to need to cut a standard card base that's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then we're going to emboss off screen a piece that's 4 inches by 5 inches. We only need a couple inches off of the side, but the turtle embossing plate is that size. So, and then we're going to also grab a couple pieces of granny apple green that 5.25 inches wide. And then you need 2.25 inches, and then 2 pieces that are 1 inch by the 5.25 or 3/4, excuse me. So on all of those pieces, we're going to just go ahead and score them all at 3/4 of an inch and 1/2 of an inch from each side. So not the top and the bottom, but from the right and the left. Okay, and then for the interior card sentiment panel, we'll have a piece that's 3.75 inch by 5 inches. So then we'll cut the Turtley Awesome paper. So for the pieces that are 3/4 of an inch by 5.5 inches, you want to make sure the stripes are going the correct way if you're using the stripe pattern, because they'll go on the sides of the front of the card. And then I'm just cutting a piece that's 4 by 5.25 inch to just snazz up the interior sentiment panel. So for the embossing, I find that it's really fun because we're using the white core paper to be able to use like a nail file or something to just sand off the top layer, and that exposes the white core of the paper. So like it's just a really super fun technique and effect to use on this card. So we'll just need one piece that's 2.5 by 2.5 and one piece that is 2.5 by 3/4 of an inch. So now let's get to stamping. So I have the garden green and granny apple green out again. And I'm just going to stamp the interior sentiment panel. I'm going to go ahead and put a turtle on the inside, just because the stamp set comes with like so many different turtles. And I'm going to grab the blender pen and grab some ink off of the stamping that I did, and I'm just going to fill in like a couple of the little extra things on the turtle. I'll speed it up here in a second, but like this is a great way to just bring in that exact same color. You know, you can just have a bunch of different blender pens because it sort of gives it sort of almost a watercolor wash to it, but you don't have to worry too much about like the ink running too much or anything. And then I have all that extra ink on my stamp anyways, so might as well use it, right? So for the front cover, I stamped the turtle in the garden green ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp an extra balloon. And I'm going to do the same thing. I colored in the turtle for the front already using the blender pen. And then for the balloon, I'm just sort of coloring it in so that it's light at the top, and then just adding a little bit of shadow down at the bottom of the balloon, just to give it a little bit of depth. I don't have to worry about the string because we're going to cut that off, but I thought it would be kind of a fun little effect to do. Okay, so on that piece of 5.25 that's scored on the sides by 1 inch, stamped the sentiment on one of them, but not on the other one. And then just for fun, this is totally a minor thing, but I'm taking the garden green ink and just stamping some of the little icons that they have for birthday stuff on that center score panel. So we're going to cover up the furthermost score panel but that center, one will show up on the side. So I just thought it'd be fun to add a couple of the little stamps on there. Plus, it's great to do a little bit of stamping. So let's go ahead and get assembling. So we're gonna fold all of those score lines so that the center part pops up and the other two fold down and up. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our embossed turtle pattern and go ahead and attach those to the two bottom little sections that'll pop up. And I'm using liquid adhesive just because I just want to make sure that everything stays in place. And, that green adhesive is great for just making sure that it will. And, I'm sure that this card is going to get like a lot of up and down sort of like popped usage and stuff. So I just thought a liquid adhesive would do better for all of that. So let's go ahead and put adhesive on that first full flap and attach that to the card. I do the 1 inch at the top and the bottom, and then sort of center that middle section. And then to lay down the other side, I like to add the adhesive and then sort of fold up the card the way it would be folded in the envelope. So that way you'll get it exactly where the fold lines want the that last little flap to go. So the adhesive takes pretty quick, especially with that green adhesive, and there is the mechanism. It's all popped up. So now we're just going to put the rest of the card together and embellish it all together. So I'm just adding that that nice interior sentiment panel to the inside of the card. I did use that DSP. I probably could have gutted it, but in retrospect, but it came out pretty nicely. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the turtle on the front cover. You can use dies. I think there's dies that go along with this stamp set. But I had my scissors out, so I just sort of fussy cut it really quickly. And then I'm going to add a little dab of glue to the bottom of the balloon. And I'm taking just a little bit of white twine and attaching that balloon there. And I'm going to use a little spare bit of my dimensionals just to make sure that that balloon sort of just the string for the balloon stays in place. And then we're going to use that to pop it up on the front cover of the card. And then we're going to use dimensionals on the back of the turtle. And I like using the little mini dimensionals, but don't put one too close to the end of the arm. I actually should have held off on putting that one on until I attached the balloon, but I'll show you that in a minute. So go ahead and attach the balloon so that it doesn't stick to the card base when it's closed. And then we'll go ahead and use our tweezers to tie the balloon string around the turtle's hand. And then I just take both sides off of a mini dimensional and stick it underneath where that string is. So because I had the other dimensional on there already, it just sort of gets in the way. So that would be one thing that I changed next time, is I wouldn't add the dimensional to the hand. Okay, so let's go ahead and put those 3/4 of an inch by 1 inch stripes on that front cover. It's really cool because it sort of like jazzes it up a whole bunch. It just sort of hides the mechanism, so it cleans up the card a lot. I like how it sort of looks. And then it's just embellishments. I'm using the hexagon embellishments that came out with the Turtley Awesome set. So I'm just going to go ahead and add those to the top, the top and bottom. using my odd rule where I like to have an odd number. So I'm adding one to the top, and then I'm looking for another spot to add one. So there, I finally settle on the embossing. But that is it, and I love how this card came out. I hope you enjoyed making it or making it your own, and don't forget to stay crafty.